So in the Mishnah, we have the second half of the Mishnah. Umoida. We have to see what does it mean in Moida. Moida Rabbi Yeshua. So Rabbi Yeshua wasn't in this Mishnah. Moida Rabbi Yeshua. Ba'omer lechavero. So one guy. So A says to B. Sadezu shalavicha hayita. This field belongs to your father. So B's father owned the field, and I bought it. Says A to B. I bought it from your father. And we say that A is believed. Because the mouth that is osering, that is the mouth that is materin. So Rashi. Ze eno yoduya shahayta shal aviv. So Rashi says, B never knew he was from his father. So A comes and tells him two things. He tells him it was your father. Ela al piv. So therefore, the only reason he knows is because A told him it was his father's. The only reason B knows it was his because it was his father's. So ma sha'aser hare heter. And what he answered, Lord, he had to. So he says, and just like I'm telling you that it was your father's, so then we now know that it is. I'm now telling you that I bought it from him. So just as much as you know it was your father's, you also know that I bought it from him. So this is the beginning of Rashi Tosfot here. Moed Rabbi Yeshua. Mitoch perish contrast mashma davka kashein hala tovayu. That it's mashma specifically where B didn't toveya A. Now, what would the toveya be? B would come to A. A's on the field, because A is obviously claiming I bought it, so he's there. He's saying, hey, this was your father's, and I bought it from him. Isn't that nice? Like, B's around his house having a cup of coffee, and he says, yeah, all this land you see, this used to be your father's, and I bought it from him. So that is what Rashi's saying, but Tosfot is saying, no, B is coming to A and saying, get the hell off the land. This is mine. This is my father's. Because so therefore I have to say, no, I bought it from your father. A has to be saying I bought it from your father. That's clearly what the Mishnah says. I bought it from your father. So that's when he has the level of Ne'emonos. Now we see in Rashi, if we go to this Rashi here. So we're asking in the Gemara, what is this Moida? So the Gemara then says that we're moida on a case of on the case of the migo we had before. So we had on was it Yod Gimel or Yud Bes? We had that there was a migo that Misha Erasti Nanasti. Then you have a migo, and then that migo is of Mukatzetz, and we had a whole problem that there is no migo and there is no chazaka. So there, Rabban Gamliel said that we believe a migu, and Rabbi Yeshua says that we don't believe the migu. And here, Rabbi Yeshua agrees with the migu. So we have two types of migu. The migu over there, Mishrasi Nanasti. We have the migu here of I bought it from your father. That the Re agrees. So why is the Re agreeing? In both cases you have a migu. Dahach Reisha Hoidahu. The kam moide Rabban Gamliel Rabbi Yeshua v'amar afokav dakulina lecha b'bari v'shema. So I agree with you, but bari ubari. So the Gemara is saying that the difference is bari v'shema, bari v'shema. Hayir d'shayach lemithni basrei. So therefore we can say afterwards that Rabbi Yeshua moide. So since Rabbi Eliezer was already arguing with Rabbi Yeshua on something else. Now we can say they argue there, but Rabbi Yeshua agrees on this one. So this is where the moida comes in. Even though they're arguing in the first parak on the migu, we've explained, but Mishrasi Nanasti. So you can say migu. We discussed the migu there on Yod. Was it Yud Beis Amud Beis? We discussed the migu, and Rabbi Yeshua says we don't hold of the migu. Lo mehemne, he is not believed, says Rabbi Yeshua. I will, however, agree in this migu in our Mishnah, the boy shasik, because this is a different type of migu. Says Rashi, the migu in our Mishnah is a migu of the boy shasik. V'lo amor le shalavicha hayisa ki amor le nami lakicha minu mehemne kadel kaman. So even if he said that I didn't buy it, even if he didn't tell him it was his father's, he still says I bought it from him. He still believed. So Rashi here brings in the idea of that it's a migu to iboy shasik. So Rashi is clearly learning here that what is pesha aser, pesha hitter? It's a migu, but it's not a normal migu. it's a superpowered migu of a migu called Di'i Boy Shasik. Now, why is a migu of Di'i Boy Shasik better than a normal migu? Because in a normal migu, and then we'll see this later in the second title, then in a normal migu, you have to make a claim. Someone makes a claim, and then you say something, and then you have a migu. But this migu is that it's not believe me in the claim I'm making, but believe me, I didn't have to say anything. So the guys on the field, so the way that Rashi is learning this, the guys on the field, and it's his, he has chazaka, and B is not claiming the field from A at all. And therefore, if A never says anything, then he gets the field. So now he says, it was your father's and I bought it from him, believe me, because I didn't have to say anything. And we're going to see later why a migu Di'i Boy Shasik is better than a migu. Rashi gives two reasons why a migu Di'i Boy Shasik is better than a normal migu. However, Rashi's learning it pesha osir, pesha hitter. Because again, this is what it says here. There's pesha osir, who pesha hitter. And Rashi's learning in this that it is a migu Di'i Boy Shasik. So Rashi's learning that what is a migu Di'i Boy Shasik? What is a pesha osir, pesha hitter? It's a type of migu. Now, another way of learning what a pesha osir, pesha hitter is, and this is how Tosfos will be learning, is that since I created the taina, since I made the taina, I can define the taina. I say what the taina is. There is no taina without me. So, since I created the taina, I get to describe what that taina is. So a simple nafkamina between them would be that Rashi will hold that all pesha else or pesha hitter will go by every din of migu, whatever the din of migu always is. So then the pesha else is exactly the same and has all the din of migu, whereas Tosfos doesn't have to hold by that and can hold that even if you have a kula in a migu pesha aser, you can still win. So for example, we don't say migu lemafreya. The simple idea of migu lemafreya is once you have a taina in based in, that's makabel, you can't go and say something else. So for example, if on Monday I go to Beis Din and I say that it was your father's, and then on Tuesday I come and say I bought it from your father, so there, that's a migu lemafreya. Since it's already makabel on the previous, I've already made the claim that it was your father, so it's already makabel in Beis Din. So I can't now say, believe me, that I bought it from him, because I could have said it was never his. Well, you said yesterday it was already his, so therefore you can't say that migu lemafreya. But Tosfos is saying that since it's a taina, that I created the taina, therefore I could get to explain the taina. When I come out on Monday and I say that it was your father's, and now I come out on Tuesday and I say, yeah, but I bought it from your father's, I get to explain, to give the pirush. What did I mean on Monday when I said that? I get to give the pirush of it. So that'd be an afkamina between it being a migu. But then we'll see that Rashi says it's a migu, which is the migu Di'i Boy Shasik. Yeah, that's how Rashi's defining pesha also. And the Gemara, the Mishnah says it's pesha also. That's how Rashi learns it. Yeah, because if you have to, it's just a normal migu. And again, we have a case here of why is Rabbi Yeshua moide in our Mishnah, because it's a special case of migu. Why is it a special case of migu? It's a higher level of migu. It's a Di'i Boy Shasik, and therefore, if B is claiming that it is my father's get off the field, then he's Eino Ne'eman, just like every other migu that Rabbi Yeshua says you're not Ne'eman. The Eino Nira, says Tosfos. The Haka, the Tani Seifa, the Im Yesh Eidim. So if you have a look at the Seifa of the Mishnah, the Im Yesh Eidim Shehi Shel Aviv. And if there were Eidim that it was of his father, that B's father owned it, and A says, I bought it from your father, he's not an Ne'eman, because he has no proof that he has it. So therefore, Tosfos is saying that here, Mashma de Davka im Yesh Eidim, what is the Sefer coming to teach me? Only when there's Eidim, then it would be the father's, then he's Eino Ne'eman. Aval, if there's no Eidim at all, Afakav de Halotavo, even though he is claiming from him, he's Ne'eman, Migu Di'i Boy, Amor Lo Hayisa Shalavicha Mayola. So since it didn't say Im Toveo Eino Ne'eman, so in the Sefer, according to Rashi, the way that Tosfos is explaining the Rashi, Im Yesh Eidim Shehi Shalaviv, then that's where he's not Ne'eman. But I have a bigger kiddush, says Tosfos. Say that if he claims from him, he's Eino Ne'eman. Our whole Mishnah, when's he Ne'eman, is because he is, according to Rashi, the only reason he's Ne'eman is because he's not claiming from him. But I have a case even without Adam where he's Eino Ne'eman, and that case of where he's not Ne'eman is where he says, that's my field, and so therefore he's making the claim.
So the bigger chiddush is when the person claims against him.
Yeah, right? because there's no Adam there. Right, so obviously, so I have a case. It seems in the Seifa, ve'im yesh Adam eino ne'eman. So therefore, every case where there's no Adam, he's not ne'eman. But Tosfot found a case in Rashi where he is in him. Now Rashi agrees that you have a case of he's eino ne'eman with Adam. So this is a good kasha on Rashi. So the base Levi here explains that. Again, we saw in Rashi that Rabbi Yeshua will say Eino Ne'eman in a case of a migu that's not a stam case of migu, a migu de iboy shasik. And therefore, if B comes to claim off him, Ri doesn't believe the migu because it's not a migu of iboy shasik. So if B comes and he says and he claims from him, there's no Adam. Im yesh Adam. No, even if there's no Adam, he's still Eino Ne'eman to Ri. That's completely true. However, Rabban Gamliel will believe him. So therefore, if you have the Seifa of the Mishnah here being a case of where B comes to claim from A, then you go back into the Maklokas of Rabban Gamliel and Rabbi Yeshua. Because Rabbi Yeshua needs a superpowered migu of a migu di boy shasik in order to be Ne'eman. But here in that case, if ve'im yesh Adam, so as Tosfot is saying, if even without Adam, but in the case without Adam, then Rabban Gamliel will believe him with the migu. So in that case, you're going back into the Maklokas, Rabban Gamliel and Rabbi Yeshua, and here we're in the second parak, and we want to move on. We don't want to get back into the Maklokas of Ri and Rabban Gamliel. We want to have a case where everyone agrees. So the Seifa of the Mishnah is bringing a case where everyone agrees, both Rabban Gamliel and both Rabbi Yeshua, because again, here in the Mishnah we're saying Moide, Rabbi Yeshua. So we don't want to go now here in this case and then go into the Seifa and then all of a sudden have a big Maklokas again. So therefore, even though it's true that according to Rabbi Yeshua, that even without Adam, that's Eino Ne'eman, but it's not true to Rabban Gamliel, and therefore the Mishnah Davka knock at the Yesh Adam, because that's the case where everyone agrees of Eino Ne'eman. That's also the case where Rabban Gamliel agrees of Eino Ne'eman. אבל אם אין אדם אף על כתיבו אין אדם. ובגמרא נמי פרח, ולסני שדה זו שלך היסה. So we should have taught that it was your field. Mashma the bahalo tovayu, and that we're referring to the case of where he is claiming from, and therefore he answers vaday shelcha hayisa, for sure it was yours, and I bought it from you. But if he didn't tovaya him, ain't shaykh loimer shelcha hayisa. But if he didn't give the claim, it's not shaykh to say it was yours. Kimistama, he knows by himself whether it was his or not. So again, the ikr point here is that Tosfos is learning this whole din of the Iboy Shasik completely different to Rashi. Rashi is learning that it's just a stam migu, and it's a migu di Iboy Shasik, therefore he can't toveya him, and Tosfos is not learning that way, and therefore Tosfos learns the case completely differently. So it's here in the Gemara. Ella Rav Asi to Amar. So my midaberes is Nivles, my migu. So we're going back into the migu because here we're moide in the migu. We're trying to tell the difference between the migus. The Ella aha he omeres muka eitzani, and he says no, you're drusus eish. Rabban Gamliel for Rabbi Eliezer oimerim ne'emen. It's Rabbi Shua oimer lo mipi anochaim. So why is they not believed? What's the difference in the migus? Hasa my miguika bishlemela Rabbi Eliezer damar b'mana v'lo klum migu di iboy amra mukaseitzani. So again, we had this before. This is kind of a repetition of again what it had to be. Is there even a migu in the second Mishnah? Or is it 200? And she says mi'akardli say elamana. So 200 and 100. Therefore, she's a better claim of saying 200. She's believed because she. Again, it's the koyach migu and the koyach hatayna. Ela Rabbi or Mali l'sheker. Ela Rabbi Yochanan demar matay mamana my miguika. Ela aha hanoisa esa isha velo matzah la besulim. So you married the woman, she don't find besulim. She says misharasi nenasti. So this is the migu, and therefore your field is ruined because there's no besulim. And she says, yes, she was already oines after kedushin, and it's your tough luck. And he says, no, it was before we got kedushin, and it was a mecheltos, and give me my money back. And she's believed. So there's the migu, because she could have said it was mukaseitz tachtech. That's a good migu. That's the migu that Rabbi Eliezer is holding by that Rabbi Yeshua isn't. So it's a migu. She could have said it was mukaseitz, and she doesn't postle herself to the kahuna. And she says, I was nenas. So therefore, she postles herself to the kahuna. The kaposel nafshe mig kahuna. Mishum hachi kamor Rabbi Gamliel that she's believed. And Rabbi Yeshua says to Rabbi Gamliel, in this migu, here I agree to you. Why? In that migu, because there I agree, I argue on you. So hi migu, v'hai migu, semektu. So now the Gemara is asking why over there in the case of Rester and Nasti that they argue, and over here they agree. Why? This is a migu and this is a migu. Maishana hai migu mi hai migu. What's the difference between the migus? So haka ein shor shachut lefunecha hasam harei shor shachut lefunecha. So in our case, there is no ox that is shechted in front of us, and over there is a shore that's shechted in front of us. So what is this idea of shor shachut lefunecha? So haka, says Rashi, gabisade. In our case, ein shor shachut lefunecha. What does it mean that a shor is not shachut lefunecha? Sheyale alev balav. So again, the way that Rashi is learning the difference is really the haka is a migu di boy shasik, and over there, so he has to explain that shor shachut lefunecha is a migu di boy shasik, and over there that there is a shor shachut lefunecha. It's not any migu di boy shasik. So how does he explain it? So ein shor shachut lefunecha, that you would think of the Baal to give a Toveya. Mi shachtu. So since there is no shechted shore, no one will ask who shechted it. So therefore, Rashi's learning there's no Toveya. That's how he's reading into those words. That since he's learning the Pesha Hitcher, that is Dibo Shasik, so therefore he's learning that again here there's no Toveya. No one's going to say who shechted the cow when the cow's running around the field. Kloimar. Im shasik ze lo hayu lo eirim. If the guy in the field never said anything, no one would say anything to him. Hilkach ilav the davar poshut hu shalachta imenu. If this is a davar poshut that he bought it from him, lo hayu oimer lo shalavicha hayisa. Why is he getting involved in saying he gets his field? And for sure it's a davar poshut that he bought from him. Otherwise he would never have said it was belonging to your fathers. Therefore we say migu. So therefore, again, this is all in the why an Iboy Shasik is better. Aval gabe lo matzah lo besulim, when you don't have the besulim, now there's a shor shachat lefonecha. Besulim, shelo matzah la. Hem. So since you didn't find them, now you're going to ask who did this. Hasiruhu lebola beistin. You have to come to beistin. V'afol pisha yeshla lahashiv taina toiva mizu. Even though she has a better taina, she has a migu because she has a better taina. Lo amrinen migu. We don't say that we believe her. Now he's going to give the two reasons as to why midu di boishazik is better. The dilma lo asakadaita. Maybe she wouldn't think of that better taina. Maybe she didn't think, I could have claimed 200. Maybe she didn't know. And this is a big claim on all migus. Well, how do you know? And here Rashi's saying it out. Yeah, Amiga Dibo Shas is much better because how do you know? Now there's a Rav Yonas and Eibshitz wrote a contras on Migu and bringing all the tannins of Migu, and they said to him, well, you're a great mind, you're the great Yonas and Eibshitz, you can think of all these tannins, but if you're just a thief, a thief, maybe you won't think of all these tannins that you're going to claim. Believe me, because I could have claimed that. Well, you wouldn't have thought to claim that. So he said, when you're a thief, everyone's a Rabbi Yonas and Leibshitz. That when you're trying to steal from somebody, you come up with every claim, and all of a sudden you're brilliant, and you think of it. You think of everything. So Rashi's really saying, according to Rabbi Yeshua, really that's Rabbi Gamliel. That's a shittas Rabbi Gamliel. Yeah, everyone's a genius when it comes to stealing. But Rabbi Yeshua is like, no, maybe you didn't think of that taina. Maybe Taki didn't think of that taina. Therefore, an Iboy Shasik, you don't even know taina to think about. Everybody could have shut up. Everyone's got that koich. Even though some people you think they can't, Everyone taka has that ability to shut up. So there, he believed the migo di Iboy Shasik more. Inami, a second reason why the Iboy Shasik is better is imure kama amram, because maybe the guy's he's trying to trick you. Taka, it's a whole elaborate scheme, and he's not making that other claim because he's. And again, this worked a lot better. And again, in this case of where it's not a koach taina, it's just a mali l'sheker, where it doesn't prove for. Come on, she just had a better taina. She could have said that 200, and she's only claiming 100. So believe me, I'm claiming 100 because I had a better taina. I didn't make, but that could be a trick. That could be a trick. Now, if it's a koach taina, the trick idea doesn't work so well, because if I come in holding your goats and I can get $400, so therefore, if I claim $200, if it's a trick, I would have tricked up to $400. But here, attacking the case, and we spoke of this out in the case of Muka 8, she doesn't really have a taina. Therefore, she has this Rumi Kamarami. Maybe it's a trick. So therefore, Rabbi Gamliel says it's not a trick. We mali l'sheker. If she's a liar, she has a better taina. She could have claimed 200. And Rabbi Yeshua would say, no, even if she thinks of that taina, maybe she's tricking you and knows the two tainas and says, if I claim 200, I don't get 200. If I claim 100, I get 100. So she's still a trick. So Taisus, Hatzam Shur Shachud Lefanech. Again, he's not going to learn like Rashi, because he learns Pesha completely differently. Perish b'kontrish shehu tayin ad shelo aristicha nenasta v'haka ein shur shachud lefanecha de'ein hala toveo. So again, this is the whole thing of Rashi, de'ein hala toveo, because the whole thing is at the Iboy Shasik. Therefore, he learns the words of the Gemara. And again, I don't know if it's necessarily. Is it a bit of a stretch? Where Rashi is saying ein shachud lefanecha means I'm not going to ask who shechted this cow, because it's not shachud. Once it's shachud, I'll ask who shechted the cow. I don't know. It's a stretch. I don't know. Is that the Pasha Pshat in the words? I don't know. V'ri mefarish dahaka nami iri b'halotoveo. Right. So where's Tosis going on? Yeah. What are you going on about? Right? Because again, Tosis is learning the different. That's just I make the claim. Therefore, I get to define what that claim is. Could a perish? Could v'haki perusho hasam shor shachud lefonecha. The hare ein la besulim. She has no besulim. Ve'ena yechola loimer besula ani. She loses that claim. Shachud lefonecha means you can't say that it is hasam shur shachud lefonecha. So over there, in the case we've had before, in the previous migu, she can't say besulani because she has the besulam mergan. I think that's more pasha like shachud lefonecha, that there's an act that's done before us, and therefore someone has to talk about that act. Come on, b'shur shachud she'ein yechol loimer chayhu. You can't say he's alive. Lahachi. Bein omeres misharasi nasti, bein omeres mukas eitzani, tachtech lo mehemne. Because there's an act that happened and she can't claim nothing happened. But here, why is it a better migu kundari? Ein shor shach lefonecha v'ne'emon b'migu de'iboy amor lo hayetza shalavicha mayolam. So you can say that it never happened. So Tosis is saying that Re agrees here because you can just say it never happened. So since you say it never happened, that's a better migu than something happened. Yeah, for sure something happened. It's just when did it happen or how did it happen? So there you're not believed. But when it's not clear that anything happened and I'm claiming that something did happen, so there you have a better belief to say that nothing happened. So again, also you have a chazaka that things never happened, that things never changed. Once you have chazaka, just saying whatever it is now, it's never changed that way. So the girl's still a basula, so she's still a basula. You believe her. She's not a basula, so now you're not believed. So here that you can say nothing ever happened, so there you have it's a better belief in migo. So that's really the macro, the two ways of learning. Pesha also, Pesha Hitter. Rashi's clearly learning. It's just a migu. It's a high-powered migu, which also gives you a din, a bigger pirush on migu, that you have this idea of a migu di Iboy Shasik. It's a better level of migu than other migus. Again, Rashi clearly learns that in that there's different levels of migu, according to Rashi. Whereas Tosis holds all migus are the same, but this Pesha also Pesha Heter is a higher level. It's not a migu. It's a higher level, and also you can have. So according to Rashi, you have a higher level of ne'emonos. So the migu has a higher level of ne'emonos than Pesha also, but Tosis, the Pesha also will have a higher level of ne'emonos than migus.